What if I told you that the crash could just be getting started and that things could get way worse before they get better? Well, that is exactly what world famous investor Ray Dalio believes is going to happen. And he is putting his thinking right along with other famous investors like Michael Burry, for example. So the question you have to ask yourself right now is, do you think that you know more than these world famous investing legends? Or do they have some knowledge to share with us? Perhaps they know something that we don't. My name's Lark. I make videos on investing. If you like that topic, you gotta subscribe to the channel. And of course, leave a thumbs up to let me know that you would appreciate this kind of content. And of course, make sure to sign up for my free newsletter. We talk about crypto, altcoins, DeFi, NFTs, ways to make money in any market conditions. Our members love it. I'm sure you will too. Sign up for free using the link down below. Okay, so billionaire Ray Dalio has made some big and bold claims about the future of the world economy. But just who the heck is Ray Dalio? Why pay attention to what he has to say? Well, Ray Dalio is the founder and chairman of the world's largest hedge fund, which is called Bridgewater Associates. Now, Bridgewater has $154 billion in assets under management right now, which is, a pretty damn big number. But what's even more impressive is that Bridgewater has returned more gains to its investors than any other hedge fund on the fricking planet. He's been a global macro investor for more than 50 years, and according to Forbes, Ray Dalio himself has a net worth of $22 billion. So he's done pretty well for himself, Kind of worth paying attention to the man's opinion, considering all those facts, if you ask me. So, over the past year, Ray has been very outspoken over the state of the economy, warning as early as June that we could be at risk of stagflation. Stagflation, in case you don't know, is basically a time of high inflation, a slowing economy, and rising unemployment, which is kind of what we're heading into. So, what is behind Ray Dalio's claims? Where is his thinking at? Well, debt levels are at all-time highs. Public and private and personal debt are at truly eye-watering levels, and they only keep going up. It's absolute insanity. The U.S. government's almost $31 trillion in debt. That's a number that's impossible to even fathom, let alone ever actually pay off. Personal credit card debt in the USA, it's close to $1 trillion. Throw another trillion on top of the barbecue there. Mortgage debt, $18 trillion. Auto loan debt, $1.5 trillion. Corporate debt, $22 trillion. What? Everyone and everything is apparently broke and living off of massive debt and borrowed time. And it's not just an America problem, although they are without a doubt the worst offender when it comes to all this. Nope. Governments all over the world are spending more and making less. That combined with runaway inflation means that Ray Dalio is expecting a mega recession coming for the USA, which is then likely to be followed by a period of stagflation. In fact, Bridgewater's CIO, their Chief Investment Officer, is actually forecasting a further 20 to 25% downturn from where we are right now for the equity markets. Ouch, ouch, ouch. That's what that means. But also it means that a truck ton of businesses are going to go out of business, from small businesses right up to large businesses. And that means that a lot of people are about to be laid off and lose their jobs, which means that consumer spending will go down. In fact, it's going to plummet, and people are going to be struggling to pay just the basics, their electricity bills, their food bills. That's going to cause more businesses to shut because no one's going to be buying anything at those places. It's a brutal downward spiral until we hit rock bottom. Ray Dalio compares this to the period to be just like the debt crisis that came between 1929 and 1932. And if you know anything about markets at all, then you know that that is not a time frame you want to be compared to. That's the Great Fricking Depression, guys. That's a terrifying warning from Ray Dalio. Interest rates hit 0% in 1932, and then the central bank started printing money and printing money and printing money and buying assets in the form of government bonds, largely what they've been doing over the past couple of years. They just didn't see any other way to stimulate the economy at that point. This is the same thing that started happening, of course, in 2008 during the last financial crisis with quantitative easing, the central banks just printing money and going crazy. And central banks all over the world basically have two choices. Either default and be honest with their people about creating hard times, or just print more money, man, to keep the good time train going. History shows they will always choose to print more money if they can, to kick the can down the road as long as possible. And that makes the inevitable crash even worse when it happens. We're seeing very large wealth gaps right now, more frequent financial and economic downturns that are more severe every time they happen, rising populist governments all over the world, huge protests against the energy and inflation and all that stuff. People feel lost, people feel fearful, which is the perfect recipe for government manipulation and control. During these times, people usually gravitate towards more control, more polarization, more partisanship. This is where Ray Dalio thinks we are right now. Ray thinks that the US empire is a fading one and that China, for better or worse, is rising up to take its place. Well, the USA is currently sitting at the top of the current world order, with the global reserve currency, of course. You have to remember that the only constant in history has been change. And this is the changing world order that we're looking at. And Ray and his hedge fund have invested billions to the tune of their thinking, particularly in Asian markets, putting their money where their mouth is. Now, problematically though, every change in the world order throughout history has been, unfortunately, decided by war. And Dalio feels that the US currently looking at China as a threat and that war could be close. All the Taiwan saber rattling, the escalations we're seeing there could be the trigger event to cause a war. We can already see China's major ally, Russia, of course, coming under pressure with what's happening in Europe right now. And whilst governments may keep the money printing going, for now anyway, it's just not sustainable over the long term. Eventually it leads to hyperinflation and economic collapse, as the damaging impacts of money printing, they just keep compounding over time. You can't keep doing it forever. And look, at the end of the day, I know, that's just one man's opinion, but a man who runs a wildly successful hedge fund and who has been right a heck of a lot of times previously. That doesn't guarantee that he's going to be right this time or that his timing is right. Maybe he's right, but the timing's off. But I do think that he's onto something here. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made this video, obviously. So how is he investing based on this thesis? Well, he's going very heavy into Vanguard Emerging Markets ETF, which gives him exposure to rising economies like China, Brazil, South Africa, among others. Seems like he also thinks that the world order is shifting towards the BRICS nations. Remember, we talked about BRICS recently in the new reserve currency video. Bridgewater Associates also have some of their largest holdings in defensive stocks like Procter & Gamble. That's a business focused on making consumer staples. You know, your toothpaste, your razor blades, your toilet paper. The list goes on, but it makes sense because guess what? During a stagflation event, a horrific recession, depression, all that stuff, people still need to brush their teeth. They'll keep making money. Bridgewater's second largest holding is Johnson & Johnson, and like Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson make many of your household items. And more importantly, they also make a lot of money, delivering an average of 8% growth in the year-on-year earnings over the past 20 years. Now, what Ray Dalio does miss, of course, is crypto. A little Bitcoin, a little Ethereum, probably be a great addition to Bridgewater's portfolio overall, although they have invested in a cryptocurrency fund this year, so it's not like they're totally asleep at the wheel on the crypto thing. Probably just waiting for better regulations before they dip their toes in even more. And fun fact, Ray Dalio does personally own Bitcoin. Don't know how much, but he owns it. He said he owns Bitcoin. Anyway, what do you think? Is Ray Dalio right about this changing world order, about a coming stagflation event and all this stuff? And should he buy some more Bitcoin? I think yes. Let me know down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.